Moving forward, I invite ACS officer Sikha Nath to kindly come forward and share her journey.
A very warm good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt regards to Rajdeep Lekharu sir, my dear colleagues, and to all the aspirants present here. So my journey with the civil services, it started way back in 2018. My first interaction with Rajdeep sir was in the submersion hall of Cotton University, wherein I was attending a seminar delivered by him and ex-faculty of Civil Services Achievers Point, Anurag Rudra sir. So that was the first day when I got to know everything I wanted to know about this journey. Before that, I had a brief idea about this, how tough this journey is or what the syllabus is. But that day, I decided that I would go for this journey. So if I had to credit someone for laying the founding stone for my journey, it has to be CSAP. So a little about my background. I did my graduation from Tinsukia College with honors in botany, and then I pursued my master's from Cotton University again in botany. And since then, I've extensively been preparing for this exam itself. And unfortunately, the syllabus got changed in 2019, and I had already started my preparation by then. And I had started with preparing my optionals, which were two in number back then. And I had started with education, unfortunately, which was removed. So I lost a good 6 to 7 months of my journey, and I was feeling highly demotivated. So there, and after that, the pandemic came in, and all of us were not feeling quite motivated during that journey, as we all know, during that pandemic. And during the pandemic itself, the notification for CCE 20 came out, and I again pulled myself up and started preparing right from the scratch. And the new syllabus, as you all are acquainted, is quite extensive as compared to the old one. The GS papers have increased in number, and at that time we also had the probability of a language paper being included, and the optional, which was reduced to 1. So first of all, I made myself acquainted with the new syllabus. I took a good 1 to 2 months only to read the syllabus itself, because as we all know, the syllabus is the backbone of this exam. You need to acquaint yourself with every word of the syllabus so as to keep you on track during this long journey of 1 to 2 years. If you do not acquaint yourself with the syllabus, if you don't know the syllabus thoroughly, it will be just like shooting into the dark. You will go on reading any and every resource, any and every material that is available in front of you. There's a very cliche statement that we often hear that everything under the sun is the syllabus for civil services, which is not true. Be it APSC or be it UPSC, they have done an extremely good job in defining the syllabus very well. If you go through the syllabus, you'll know exactly what to study and what not to study. So first of all, I devoted myself to studying the syllabus. Secondly, I took another month to study the previous year questions. So previous year questions will give you an idea about which topics to focus more on, which topics to give less time on. For example, in GS1, there's a part called post-independence era. So from that, the output ratio is not as much. So if you continue devoting 2 to 3 months on that particular topic, you'll not receive as much output as the input you put in. So for that, the analysis of previous year questions, I would say, is crucial. And then I moved on to limiting my resources. This is very important because we often, I have been, ever since I cleared, I have been getting messages like, which resources or which books did you follow? It's not very easy to tell you that I followed this, you have to follow this. You have to customize your resource list yourself. You have to know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. There's an ocean of resources. If you go out into the market today, the only thing that you will not feel scarce about is resources. There are ample of resources, be it coaching materials, be it standard books, be it NCRTs, or be it the notes from the toppers. Nowadays, even UPSC toppers have made their notes public on Telegram, if you know. So resources are something that you will never be short of. The only problem is you need to know what to avoid, because if you follow, for example, for polity, if you decide to follow Lakshmikant and then you see someone following Didi Basu and again you see someone following the Bear Act, you cannot possibly read all three. You have to limit yourself to one book itself. Only then will you be able to revise one book multiple number of times, which is the most crucial point of this examination. If you do not revise what you've studied, you will have a very chaotic state of mind in the exam. In the preliminary examination, the MCQ, the options will confuse you. In the mains, you'll not be able to frame points, and in the interview, you'll fumble in front of the panel. So I feel that multiple revisions are very crucial, which can only be done if you limit your resources. So coming to my resources, they were very few in number. Because my optional was history, I followed some coaching notes of Balian for history optional, which I also use for my GS part of the history. And apart from that polity, I followed Lakshmikant only, and no other book, no other coaching material, no toppers notes, nothing. And I followed, and there's a statement that circulates saying that 6 to 12 NCRTs are compulsory. You must have heard it, that 6 to 12. I don't feel it's true. I feel that only if you do not have any background or any knowledge about the social sciences, only then you should continue reading NCRTs right from class 6, because they are very basic things. If you go to class 6 and go and open a class 6 NCRT, it is basically a story that is being told, if you have read it. So I feel that after pursuing graduation, most of us have a knowledge of the social sciences to some extent. So if you feel that you do not have any understanding of the subjects, only then go for the very lower standard NCRTs. Otherwise, 11 and 12 are quite sufficient. For geography, I followed the 11 12 NCRTs, and for economics also, I followed the 11 and 12 NCRTs. And apart from that, for ethics, I followed only one coaching material notes. And other than that, whatever the loopholes were remaining, I filled it up with practicing previous year questions, previous year questions or mock tests. I forgot to mention mock tests. Mock tests are very important for a prelims point of view. You cannot possibly revise every possible fact, every possible detail for prelims. It's a very extensive syllabus which will not, it is not possible to revise everything or study everything. So those gaps will be filled up by the mock test that you take. So I would advise everyone to practice as many mocks as possible. You don't really need to buy mocks every time. You can even, if you go on Google, there are ample number of websites available where there are many questions related to UPSC or APSC. You can just Google that and you can practice. And just appearing for mocks isn't enough. After you give a mock test, you need to analyze your answers, where you committed the mistake. And suppose you made a mistake there, you need to know what was the mistake. Was your technique wrong of eliminating, or was it just a blind guess? And after completing the whole paper, you need to see how much accuracy you have and how much of mistakes did you make, because that will again count in the negative score that has in prelims. Okay. So analyzing the mock test is as important as appearing for the mock test. You'll see candidates, they say that I've appeared for 60 to 70 mocks and yet I didn't clear prelims. The answer has to lie in that the person didn't probably analyze the mock test and didn't go back to where the mistake lied. And about the CSAP paper, I don't think I'm the right person to comment about it, because I myself was not very good in maths. I solved the CSE previous year papers from 2013 to 2021, I guess. So I solved all that and then I set for the exam. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to pass the qualifying marks. And about mains, the most important part of mains is answer writing. I would say it's the backbone of mains. So you need to practice as many answers as you can for mains, because only that will give you the speed that you need to qualify the mains exam. It's not easy. It's a very extensive process, like my fellow colleague has already highlighted. You need to write for 18 hours in 72 hours. Your hand will not work by the end. At the end of the day, you'll feel like it's not working. The blood circulation is stopping or something. You'll feel like that. So right now, most of you must have an experience of writing 100 marks in 3 hours. There you have to attempt 300 marks in 3 hours. So 3 times the effort you need. So that practice you cannot hope to achieve by writing on the first day of GS1 or essay paper. You need to have a thorough practice beforehand, and that will only come by trying to write multiple questions. Initially, your answers will take 15 minutes for a 10 marker or 20 minutes. I took 25 minutes for a 10 marker initially when I started to write. And the state of the answers were also pathetic. It was not very good. But no one is going to ever see that answer. No one is going to know how, in what condition you are. You are your own competitor. So stop feeling embarrassed of your bad answers and just start writing. Because initially you'll write bad answers, you'll see it is gradually improving, and at the day of the exam, I'm 100% sure that you'll be able to write a 10 marker in 7 minutes, a 15 marker in say around 10 to 12 minutes, and a 20 marker in around 15 minutes. So that is the time that you need to maintain to complete the mains paper, and completing the paper is crucial. It's very crucial. Like if you write 2 or 3 average answers, that might get you through, but if you leave a single question, that might prove detrimental. It's very hard to fill a gap of 15 marks or 10 marks or 20 marks. So practicing answers is very important. Everyone, even sir will tell you how important it is. And secondly, my strategy for writing an answer was always threefold. I used to go for the intro, body, and conclusion method. In introduction, I would just mention some keywords. Like suppose a question is asking you what were the reasons of backwardness in the Northeast region. So the keywords for this question are reasons, backwardness, and Northeast region. So I would be very sure to mention these 3 keywords in the introductory line itself, so as to psychologically trick the examiner into believing that I've already addressed the need of the question. And then after that, I would inculcate some facts from reputed national agencies or reputed agencies which publish some reports and facts and figures like World Bank, IMF, or national agencies like Niti Aayog or National Health Survey. I would quote some facts and figures pertaining to that particular problem, if I have it. And I always used to prepare these kind of facts, and I had a table ready so that whenever a question comes particularly related to that topic, I have a fact ready for it. So facts and keywords were my target for or were my strategy for the introduction. And I used to keep the introduction very short, a 2 or 3 liner perhaps, and then I would move on to the body. The body I would try to keep as far as possible multidimensional. I would suppose the reasons for backwardness of Northeast, I would address it from all point of view: social, political, cultural, economical. I would show the examiner that I'm analyzing a problem from all possible directions. So that would give a sort of enrichment to your answers. Okay, so lastly, for the conclusion I never used to end in a negative note. I always used to keep a futuristic approach, and because that is what is expected out of a bureaucrat or a civil servant, that you do not go on criticizing the government policies. You need to find solutions. You need to implement whatever policies government gives you with utmost efficiency. So always keeping a futuristic approach in your answers will fetch you more marks, I believe. So try to do that. And lastly, about the interview stage. For interview, we also personally didn't get much time. We hardly got around 1 week. So preparing in that 7 days was quite hectic. Basically, the only thing that worked for me in interview was keeping a open personality. Like whatever you are, you be that in front of the panel. Don't try to frame a different personality over a week or 15 days, because those people that are analyzing you are very experienced. They have spent their entire life working for the service which you are applying for. So they're very experienced. They can tell you if you're bluffing, they can tell you if you're lying, and they can tell you if you're trying to be someone who you're not. So keep an open mind, be whoever you are, and that should get you through. And my message for all the future aspirants is that this journey, more than being academically challenging, is quite mentally challenging. You know, sitting in a table every day for 5 to 6 hours at least, and maintaining that consistency for 2 to 3 years or 1 to 2 years at the least is very hard. It's very mentally draining at times. You feel demotivated, and there will come ups and downs in your journey when you probably do not even want to get out of bed and go and study in the table. You will see your friends doing well, earning more than you, getting married and whatnot. And when someone asks you a basic question like "Ki Korea Saitia," that hits you the heart, because most of the people in our society think that this exam is not doable. this exam is not doable, it's not doable. Most of the people around you will comment like that. But you need to remember why you started in the first place, to achieve that target. If you keep that in your mind, nothing can stop you, I feel. Thank you so much and all the best.